Welcome to Within the Frame, where we bring the most pressing issues across the globe into focus. I'm Kim Mok-yeon. K-content has once again proven its global staying power. At the 83rd Golden Globe held earlier this month, K-pop Demon Hunters clinched two major awards, signaling not just another milestone, but a potential pivot point for the future of Hallyu. From K-pop and dramas to fashion, beauty, and even tourism, the Korean wave has evolved far beyond a trend. It's becoming embedded in everyday lifestyles, especially among younger audiences in the US and around the world. With over-the-top platforms driving unprecedented visibility and fan bases expanding across age, race, and gender lines, the conversation is no longer if K-culture will last, but how it will grow from here. For a deeper discussion on this, we connect to Seok-young Kim, professor of Theater and Performance Studies and Associate Dean for Academic Affairs and External Engagement at UCLA. A big welcome, Professor Kim.
Thank you for having me.
So let's start right away, of course, with the big wins. On January 11th, K-pop Demon Hunters swept two awards at the Golden Globes. What's your view? We wonder, how much of a turning point has the K-pop Demon Hunters craze become for the spread of Korean pop culture?
The global success of K-pop Demon Hunters creates a huge moment where K-culture is pivoting towards much broader and younger audience. I was greatly impressed by how pervasive the power of K-pop Demon Hunters were. You can hear the golden soundtrack everywhere you go, and you see all these young kids, as well as adults, dressed up as their characters during Halloween, and you also see parades where K-pop Demon Hunters characters are featured in major events such as Thanksgiving Parade, hosted by Macy's department store, which is a 100-year-old tradition in the US. So I would say that something that I've noticed as new level of success that was created by K-pop Demon Hunters is that the fandom is getting much younger, and the merchandise and the products that are associated with the shows are seen everywhere, and it's pervasive. It has truly entered the mainstream.
Right, it really feels like a breakthrough moment, not just for the film itself, but for the entire movement, which raises us to the key question: what is really so special about this? What do you think sets K-pop Demon Hunters apart from earlier waves of K-content?
That's a great question. So I believe that the earlier Korean cultural content that have done so well in the US have emphasized the contemporary, modern, urban glitz of what we think of South Korea as this economic miracle and a place that has gone through tremendous development. K-pop Demon Hunters is unique because it highlighted the traditional beauty and culture and belief system of old Korea. And I think as a result, people's perception have shifted to think that traditional aspects of Korean culture is also unique, beautiful, and attractive. So the content creators nowadays can bank on the fact that working on traditional aspect of Korean life will be a guarantee of success as well.
So now we're getting deeper into the traditions of Korean origin. Now, Professor, let's zoom out a little bit first. So, how would you say the current Korean wave in the US has evolved? Before, you've mentioned that in America, K-culture is not really seen as exotic content anymore, but now it's a lifestyle. Could you expand on that?
Sure. The biggest difference that I see between previous iteration of K-pop culture, K-culture boom and the current Hallyu trend is that I think people's perception has shifted. So in the past, when any K-pop groups enter Billboard or any top 200 or 100 charts, it was big news because it was exception to the rule. Nowadays, I think the majority of US fandom consumers would agree that Korea is a place which is really good at making these impactful pop culture that is enjoyed by many generations and across gender lines and regional differences within the US. So this center of gravity has shifted. And I think there's general consensus that Korea is a trendy place. And I think only few people would argue against that. So I think this perceptual level is really felt as something that has really shifted in past few years. And another thing is that I think K culture fandom is getting increasingly diversified across age groups and across regional difference in the US. As many people know, United States is a highly divided nation where many social conflicts and political differences really create so much of tension. Whereas I don't see that kind of division playing out in Korean culture fandom. I think there's something so universal and generally appealing about Korean culture that unites people.
Wow, so it seems like a very meaningful shift. What was once niche is now almost a mainstream in America. Now, staying on that, you pointed out that it's the American millennials and Gen Zs who are driving K-culture's expansion into tangible consumer areas like beauty, fashion, food, and tourism as well. What makes this generation particularly responsive to K-culture?
So, as we know, millennials and Gen Z are, brought up under highly digitized society. They really have not known any alternate ways of living other than to be part of this digital consumerism and networked social relations. So, in short, they're very comfortable in consuming and sharing their views and building their identity in online space. And they have very little resistance against foreign culture where you might have to go through translations and cultural interpretations. So they're prone to being more receptive to foreign language cultures. And at the same time, the US as a whole has become a somewhat different and more challenging environment for many young people. The job security, which used to be guaranteed with a certain level of education, is no longer there. So I would say millennials and Gen Z in the US are struggling. I think they have harder time than their parents or grandparents' generation, who used to believe in American dream. And in this kind of challenging environment, Korean culture, with its healing message and the message of unity, comes across as a place where they can really pursue alternate dreams and also be comforted by sharing their views with like-minded people.
Right, so these generations really seem to be shaping global culture in real time. But it's not only them, like you've said, Korean dramas are gaining traction among other groups like older male viewers across various ethnic groups in the United States. So with K content now reaching across generations, races, and gender lines, what kind of long-term implications do you see for the future of Hallyu?
So diversifying fandom for K culture is a great thing for the longevity of Korean cultural boom. As you mentioned, we have surveys which tell us that there is this older male fandom for K-drama scenes, and they might not be the most active fandom to be kind of visible in online activities, but nevertheless, they're there. And also, recent surveys show that there is really high Hispanic fandom basis for Korean dramas, which is a really positive thing for the future because Hispanics in the US is the fastest growing ethnic group. And according to some surveys, by 2060, they will be the majority ethnic group in the state of California, where I live. So, for the longevity of the success of Korean culture, diversifying fandom, which includes older male fans for K dramas, as well as other ethnic minorities, is a really positive thing.
Right, definitely. It's really fascinating to see how it's cutting across boundaries we didn't really expect. So, with this, then why do you think, what do you think is the secret behind K content's ability to connect with such a broad global audience? And what's the single strongest competitive edge that it sets apart from other cultural exports?
If I have to mention one thing, I would mention Korea's unique ability to present hybridized culture to the global audience. And what I mean by that is Korean content is really strong in presenting a perfect balance of what is traditional and what is ultra modern. If we look back on Korean history itself, it has transformed so rapidly from pre-modern society to the very fashionable, trend-setting, hyper contemporary consumerist society. And because the period for development was so condensed, Korea was able to retain many aspects of traditional culture while also being conversant with the global pop culture trends. And also at the same time, it was able to develop economically to invest heavily in entertainment sectors, which enabled the production of very high quality contents. But at the same time, its past history is not immersed in imperial expansions or colonizing other countries to the degree that global fans might push back, because nowadays fans might be very conscious of the ethical dimension of the entertainment industry itself. So I think this unique advantage really put Korea in a special place. And I would be remiss to not mention how the creative talent in Korea is so hardworking. And because of this very demanding fandom and Korean viewership, which always raises the bar of creators to produce something better and more unique and original, really contributed to Korean content's uniqueness and its competitive edge.
Right, definitely. So as you've said, hybridized culture, balancing tradition and modern aspects, it's really a great point for Korean culture. Now, when we speak of this spread of Korean culture, we cannot not talk about over-the-top platforms like Netflix. It's clearly played a huge role in the global breakout of K content, not just K-pop Demon Hunters, but also other hits like, Squid Game. So how exactly has Netflix changed the way K-culture spreads? And what do you see as key challenges moving forward?
So the global rise of Netflix as the leading platform where global viewership access so many content was incredibly important for the globalization of Korean dramas and Korean entertainment programs. Particularly during COVID, when people had to stay home without going to movie theaters and access the global content through Netflix, really provided incredible opportunity for Korean dramas to rise to the top. I think that Korean content always had such high level quality. And global platforms like Netflix made it available and visible to the global audience. The challenges facing the entertainment industry ahead is that I hope that global platforms like Netflix will be able to grow symbiotically with the local talent by supporting and investing emerging talents. so that this current success is not just a temporary phenomenon, but it could be a momentum for mutually beneficial growth.
Well, that'll be a very important tip for many of us. But in order to, keep the momentum going and prevent the Korean wave from becoming just another passing trend, then what do you think is the biggest pitfall that should be avoided right now?
So the replication of the same success model could be dangerous. That is to say that the content creators should think about how to diversify genres and forms of expression that could attract more global fandom. And this is why K-pop Demon Hunters was unique, because it brought animation into the fold of Hallyu portfolio. It used to be K-pop and K-dramas as two engines that drove Hallyu's success. But just like K-pop Demon Hunters brought animation into our consideration, content creators really need to think about what else is out there, what else have we not tapped into.
Definitely. It's a very critical point. So staying relevant and staying alert will be very important. Now, finally, Professor Kim, before we let you go, you've mentioned before that the real expansion of Hallyu actually will begin now. So as we look ahead to the year 2026 and beyond, what do you think K-culture's next phase would actually look like?
Well, I certainly wish that it will reach our daily life, the choices that we make every day. Then that is to say that the success of K culture will translate into people's lifestyle and life choices. And we certainly see that happening already. It's truly hard to avoid K-beauty products when you enter any commercial space in large urban places like LA and many other cities. And I think this was enabled by the tremendous popularity of Korean dramas. So I certainly hope that the everyday consumption patterns will be really influenced by the success of Korean cultural boom in 2026 and beyond.
Right, that gives us a powerful sense of where things are headed. So K-culture isn't just having a moment, it's really building a future, and the world will be watching together forward. Thank you so much for your insights tonight, Professor Kim. We really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
And that'll be all from us on Within the Frame tonight. Be sure to tune in again next time as we continue to explore the stories that matter. Until then, stay informed and engaged.